Angie is your home for everything home, and they've made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can be hard just to know where to start. But now, all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise that you need. Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly. Which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few steps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your own home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
An Otherworldly Burial. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
Cemetery Road, it leads to the Aurora Cemetery, you guessed it, old cemetery in the small town of Aurora, Texas, about 30 minutes outside of Fort Worth. Approaching the southern entrance of the cemetery on Beauchamp Road, you'll encounter a plaque discussing the history of what occurred within. As you go inside, walk to the right of a large tree. You're looking for a rock. If you find the historical marker for one of the town's founders, you've gone too far. But if you observe the cemetery closely, you'll see a small rock surrounded by many small mementos. The rock, light, tan, and rough, has an oval carving on it with 3 crude holes inside of it. That rock, not even an original, is the only evidence of an enduring local alien mystery that's over 120 years old. Today we're talking about the Aurora alien gravesite. On April 19, 1897, Dallas Morning News reporter S.E. Hayden described a strange sight, one that happened just 2 days earlier, on April 17th, around 6 a.m. The piece said, quote, "About 6 o'clock this morning, the early risers of Aurora were astonished at the sudden appearance of the airship, which has been sailing around the country. It was traveling due north and much nearer the earth than before. Evidently, some of the machinery was out of order, for it was making a speed of only 10 or 12 miles per hour, and gradually settling towards the earth. It sailed over the public square, and when it reached the north part of town, it collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill and went into pieces with a terrific explosion, scattering debris over several acres of ground, wrecking the windmill and water tank and destroying the judge's flower garden. The pilot of the ship is supposed to have been the only one on board, and while his remains were badly disfigured, enough of the original has been picked up to show that he was not an inhabitant of this world." So, in summation, an unidentified flying object Hayden called a, quote, mystery airship has careened into a windmill on the property of the town judge named J.S. Proctor. The UFO crashed hard into the windmill and ricocheted onto the ground. The pilot, presumably an alien, did not survive the violent crash. Locals were able to drag what was described as a petite Martian body from the wreckage and decided, being a good Christian town, that they would do what any God-fearing community would do: give the alien body a good Christian burial right in their own cemetery. As the story goes, the locals placed a headstone on the spot with a crude etching of the alien's ship on it, although no evidence of this really exists. The image I referenced earlier, the dome with the 3 holes, is a more modern version of the gravestone, placed by a tree in the spot the body was supposedly buried. Though the alien itself was laid to rest, the wreckage from the crash site itself was dumped into a nearby well located under the damaged windmill, though some say some of the debris was also in the alien grave. Adding to the mystery was the story of Mr. Brawley Oates, who purchased Judge Proctor's property around 1935. Oates cleaned out the wreckage from the well in order to prepare it for use, but later developed an extremely severe case of arthritis, which he claimed to be the result of contaminated water from the alien UFO remnants that had been hanging out in his well. As a result, and maybe a bit of a statement in and of itself, in 1945, Oates finally sealed up the well with a concrete slab and placed an outhouse on top of it. Case closed? Hardly. Of course, years went by and this incident was investigated by journalists and UFO enthusiasts alike, although the results, I'd imagine, were frustrating. City Administrator Tony Wheeler's family has lived in Aurora for generations. Her great-grandparents were there when the event occurred. She says of the UFO crash, quote, "The townspeople went rushing up to the site, and they found debris scattered everywhere and a very charred alien body, which we've named Ned. And we believe Ned's resting place is under this tree in the cemetery." But, Wheeler adds, the story is not something that many people want shared. Quote, "There's lots of people who want the story to go away. They really quashed it for years and years. I mean, you're in a heavily influenced Bible community, and people, if you can't explain it, they don't want anything to do with it." But not UFO people. In particular, in 1973, people began to really try and figure out what exactly happened that morning on J.S. Proctor's farm. At that point, Bill Case, an aviation writer for the Dallas Times-Herald, and the Texas State Director of Mutual UFO Network dug in. MUFON, the acronym for the Mutual UFO Network, a nonprofit organization comprised of civilian volunteers who study reported UFO sightings, was of course all over this. As a note, with over 4,000 members, MUFON is one of the oldest and largest organizations of its kind, with chapters in all 50 states. It was in the 1970s that MUFON reps in Texas, doing their due diligence, uncovered 2 new eyewitnesses to the crash. Mary Evans, who was 15 at the time, told MUFON of how her parents went to the crash site, at that point they forbade her from going, and how they had themselves discovered the alien body on the ground. Charlie Stevens, who was 10 at the time, told MUFON agents that he had himself seen an airship trailing smoke as it headed north towards Aurora. He wanted to see what happened, but his father made him finish his chores. Later, he told agents how his father went to town the next day and saw the wreckage from the crash for himself. MUFON then, of course, went to the cemetery. There they uncovered a grave marker that appeared to show a flying saucer of some sort. The area also had high readings from their metal detector. Building their case, MUFON asked for permission to exhume the site, but the Cemetery Association declined. Says Wheeler on this point, quote, "You have to notify the next of kin before you exhume a body. So I've never met an alien that I'm aware of. It would be kind of hard to find a descendant of Ned in order to exhume his body." But after MUFON's inquiry, the marker mysteriously disappeared from the cemetery, and a 3-inch pipe was placed into the ground. In addition, MUFON's metal detector no longer picked up metal readings from the grave, leading MUFON agents to conclude that any metal that had once been there was now removed. Since then, of course, UFO enthusiasts continue to petition the cemetery to exhume the spot, but again, and continually, that request has been denied. MUFON wrote up a final report on the whole thing, which paved the way for controversy, as if there wasn't enough already, surrounding this strange incident and sealing the legacy of Aurora as a, quote, Texas Roswell. We'll tell you about that after the break.
Angie is your home for everything home, and they've made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can be hard just to know where to start. But now, all you need to do is Angie that, and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise that you need. Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest, from start to finish. Or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly. Which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few steps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your own home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
I wanted to tell you about our podcast, Drew Blood's Dark Tales, hosted by me, Drew Blood. We're a weekly storytelling podcast where you'll hear hand-picked horror from our favorite authors, accompanied by full audio production and performed by yours truly. I invite you to search for Drew Blood's Dark Tales on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you do your listening. And subscribe for longer episodes each and every week.
Hi, hello. How are you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
How's it going out there?
We're checking in.
How's the year treating you?
Yeah.
This new year, 2024. You want more? Get some. More? I'll stop.
Okay.
Thanks.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, supporting us, spreading the good word.
Thank you.
We are thankful for you.
Absolutely.
We thank our lucky, lucky stars.
Ooh, all the time.
I look up at the stars and I don't wish for eternal youth and fame.
Yeah, you do.
After I'm done with that.
Okay.
And by that, I mean just somebody, like, let me get paid for something and somebody, like, look in my direction. That's all.
That's all. That's
After
it.
that, the stars I'm thanking is for the ghost town government.
Yes. Good. Humble, grounded.
Including our starry mayors. I would say that this mayor is the secretive one. What are they hiding? What are they so secretive?
What's behind that burning ball
Open book?
of gas?
No. Closed book.
Closed-ass book. Pretty
Closed-ass
sexy.
book.
It's pretty sexy in my book.
That's Casey Weber.
Hello.
This one's the computer hacker of the group. They're like, hey, can you just play your instrument? He's like, no, I'm too busy hacking computers. And they're like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, we're not a heist. We're a musical group, right? We're not just a heist group.
And they're like, found your personal information.
They're like, you're still in the group.
Yeah,
Everything's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, cool.
That's Kelly Meehan.
Hello.
This one's the wild one.
Woo!
Always breaking the rules.
Bad boy alert. Smoking?
No.
Oh, okay. Too
No,
far?
I didn't
far?
say sociopathic criminal. I just
Okay.
said bad.
Gotcha. No, never.
I didn't say they're completely deranged. That's Matthew Clemens LeRae.
Hello.
This one's the face of the group. This one's that face. It's just
Ooh.
all face. Look at face. Look at face. Can I play an instrument? Who knows? I face. And everyone's mesmerized by face. That's Ashley Madsen.
Hello.
This one's the numbers. Crunching numbers. Does this add up? This doesn't add up.
Oh,
I'm going to crunch the numbers
little
again.
visor with little adding machines.
If it doesn't,
Work,
if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Is their motto.
Ruthless.
That's Kat Joselle.
Hello.
This one is in the group, also the head of the fan club, double dipping, double duty.
Ooh, that
It's
seems problematic.
It's a conflict of interest.
Absolutely.
Because they're always putting their face on the center of all the merchandise.
Yeah, this is a real Selena situation.
Yeah.
Feels like.
So, but listen, that's the way they signed contracts. That's the way it all shakes out.
All right, let's just hope for the best.
That's Marissa Rothermel.
Hello.
And this one is just the centered one. They just keep everything centered, right? They're not too much of this or too little of that.
Oh, just
They're the
meditative,
one
balanced.
keeping it all together, not asking, not taking, just necessary. Without them, it's nothing. That's Emma Hopkins.
Hello.
And then here comes their manager,
Oh.
our governor, the manager. Did they sign in blood? I don't know. It was a weird night. It was like they got initiated in a cult-like way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is for the rest of your life. Like, ha, 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 ha. It's
Yeah,
like,
they
no.
have to leave their families.
This is for the rest of your life. And they signed in blood and got branded.
Yeah.
Ironclad contracts.
Wow.
Forever. You think Scientology makes you sign a contract for a long time?
That ain't shit. You
They're like,
wish it was Scientology.
It's called the Scientology plus 5.
And
Even
they're
the
happy.
Scientologists are like, that's too long.
Wow.
That's a huge commitment. That would be our governor, Avian Noble. If you want no ads, no chit-chat, bonus episodes, just the good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/ghosttown. 7 days free. You want to check it out, want to support us. Also, we've been putting out some video. Instagram, TikTok at Ghost Town Pod. If you want to help, liking, favoriting, sharing, like really get into that algorithm.
Help us out a
grease
little
that algorithm.
bit.
Putting our
Free
faces and
stuff.
bodies
We're
on the
gonna
line.
Do more free stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're just putting it out there
It's
for
fun.
you to look and judge, and for us to look and judge even harsher.
Yeah, it's a full cycle of looks and judgments.
So if you want to help support us, getting those videos out there is a quick and easy and a free way to do it. Only costs you your dignity.
That's it.
And your reputation is like, why are you sharing this garbage? And you're
Yeah.
like,
Who
a
are these
podcast
people?
said so.
Who are these white people?
Now they're deciding to get on video? Now? Now they're like, oh, how about, is now a good time? Yeah, that's
It is
us.
a good time. It's a great time.
It's a great time.
Let's get back to Texas. It's the mid-1970s, and there is renewed energy around finding out what exactly happened on April 17th, 1897. MUFON writes up reports on their investigation stating that the evidence was inconclusive, but did not rule out the possibility of a hoax. But they weren't the only ones who called bullshit on the whole story. As more people became believers, of course, more people just wanted Aurora to be left alone, and were sure the whole thing was a lie. And for good reason. The hoax theory got its roots in a 1980 Time magazine interview with Etta Peegs, an 86-year-old Aurora resident who told the news outlet that good old Judge Hayden had fabricated the entire story, stating that Hayden, quote, wrote it as a joke and to bring interest to Aurora. The railroad bypassed us and the town was dying. As a last-ditch revitalization effort, Hayden decided to make up an insane story to give the town a little clout that he felt it deserved. Peegs also claimed that Judge Proctor never operated a windmill on his property, though that fact was later refuted in a 2008 episode of UFO Hunters, whose producers found the base of a wooden water pump tower constructed around the well. Fast forward to April 12, 2002, when paranormal researcher Jerry Drake challenged that finding, noted that the well was clearly a bucket well of modern construction, estimated to be built sometime after 1940. Not only was it too old, but it was not a well designed for use with a windmill. In 1998, Dallas-based TV station KDFW aired a lengthy report about the Aurora incident, where reporter Richard Ray interviewed former Fort Worth Star-Telegram reporter Jim Mars and other locals, who said something did in fact crash in Aurora. However, Ray's report couldn't conclude that the crash was extraterrestrial in nature. Ray reported that the state of Texas erected a historical plaque in town that outlines the tale and labels it, quote, a legend. Along with that plaque, of course, is the marker at the cemetery, and while the original headstone no longer exists, if it ever did at all, the memorial around the new stone is a strange remnant of the encounter, one that still holds a cult-like following for alien enthusiasts the world over. Quote, Roswell of its day gets lots of visitors who want to see the gravesite for themselves. I'm going to read you some experiences of the space from some of the many reviews on TripAdvisor. This one's from Julie B. from Indy. Quote, so after reading about Ned and his epic crash in April 1897, I had to visit the grave. Cemetery is very easy to find. Take the last entrance on the left, Beauchamp Road, and start looking to your right by a large tree for a flat oval stone. Grave marker has been stolen. If you get to the historical marker, you've gone too far. Usually the stone is covered in, quote, gifts left for, quote, Ned, like pennies, Star Wars action figures, and green items. Cemetery is very well maintained, and there's even a geocache there. For a fun otherworld experience, if you're near the area, stop by. Here's one from John R. Peaceful place, aside from the occasional gunshot in the distance. This is Texas, after all. I came here specifically to the alien plaque and ended up walking around for an hour or so. Beautiful place, full of history. And the last one from Goldie B. Aurora Cemetery, famous for the final resting place of the extraterrestrial killed in the UFO crash at Aurora, Texas in 1897. There is even a historical plaque erected telling the story. Nobody knows exactly where he/she/it is buried, but it's fun to search. This is also the final resting place of serial killer Ricky Lee Green, who was executed by lethal injection in 1997. Scary. Aside from these two oddities, it is a very old cemetery in a peaceful setting. We'll have to save the story of Ricky Lee Green for another day, but let's wrap up this mystery with one final thought from local Tony Wheeler, who is proud of this historic, albeit strange, piece of her hometown identity. Quote, we predate Roswell by 50 years, so, why not do something with this? It's part of our history, and you can't just erase history. You have to embrace it, she says. The good and the bad.
Angie is your home for everything home, and they've made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can be hard just to know where to start. But now, all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise that you need. Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly. Which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few steps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your own home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
I'm Otis Gyrie, and where I'm from, we don't do nice bedtime stories. If that's what you were expecting, you're in the wrong place. However, if it's terrifying tales you're after, well then, I've got just the thing for you. Here on Scary Stories Told in the Dark, we bring you immersive original tales about malicious monsters, deadly deals with demons, and the gruesomely grotesque. With short stories from published horror authors to accomplished indie creepypasta authors, which are brought to life through our eerily haunting sound design and narration from yours truly, you're guaranteed to hear the tales that make your skin crawl and your palms sweat. So dive into the cosmically creepy with us by subscribing to Scary Stories Told in the Dark on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Get comfortable, settle in, turn off the lights, if you dare. Your night is about to get a whole lot darker.
Listen closely. I might just know what you're looking for. Maybe it's a little bit more excitement in your life. A jolt to the system to get the blood pumping again. Just the smallest, tiniest taste. A little something to dilate the pupils. Do allow me to welcome you to the Horror Hill. A little getaway I know about. A place with scenic overlooks and fresh terror on tap that would chill even the most discerning connoisseurs of the macabre to the bone. Join me each week to get all of the ghastly, gory, and grotesque stories that I've handpicked from the works of previously published and indie authors by subscribing to Horror Hill on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to get your horror fix. My name is Jason Hill, and you can take my word for it. Oh, and remember, it's only a story. Right?